Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome in. It's another installment of the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City here in the Ravens Room with Ravens Wrist 44. Give yourselves a hand. Of course, we've got our special sponsors to thank. Of course, the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, our friends at Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and JCTickets.net. Coming up, we will preview the upcoming game against the Cleveland Browns, but first we'll recap the 16-6 victory in the Harbaugh Bowl, the Ravens over the San Francisco 49ers. It's week number 12 of the NFL, 11 for the now 8-3 AFC North division leading Baltimore Ravens. Another hand for that. Come on. I'm Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. To my left, former All-Pro Baltimore Colt safety Bruce Laird. Bruce, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mike. Good to see you. Thank you.
Special guest with us tonight, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan.
Good to see you.
And, of course, OC local entrepreneur, former Lehigh College player, John Garrick. John.
Like the former Lehigh College thing.
Hey,
young entrepreneur of Ocean City.
I used to be a millionaire. I lost it. that was like, what, 6 weeks ago I was a millionaire.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What happened?
Happens quick. And we'll come back, baby.
Yeah. Well, we hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday, and it certainly was capped off with a great victory, 16-6 over the San Francisco 49ers. A couple of wins in just a shorter period of time, Bruce, for the Ravens. But, this was really, we talk about Ravens-Jets being one of those throwback kind of, grind them out type defensive games. The Ravens 49ers much more so, actually, on Thursday night. A team in San Francisco that loves to go double tight, run the football, play action pass on third down. I mean, our defense they're geared up for that kind of style of play. And, boy, they had at it on Thursday.
Did they take it to the front of the San Francisco 49ers? It was just poetic football when it comes to that point. And knowing that the San Francisco 49ers were averaging in their last 7 games, folks, they were averaging almost 165 yards per game rushing the football. You knew you had to control 1st and 10. And not only did we do that in the running game with our front 7, we just annihilated them passing the football. To have 9 sacks, possibly 11, if you could hold on a little bit more, to do that to an offensive line that had been playing very, very stellar was very, very impressive on a Thursday night.
I mean, Frank Gore coming into the game and his backup, Kendall Hunter, both almost averaging 4 yards a carry, a very potent rushing attack, and yet the stats bear out 14 rushes, 39 yards for Frank Gore, 2.8 average. Kendall Hunter, 4 for 14. I mean, they had nothing at the end of the day. And Bruce, as you talked about, Rick, I mean, they set up, second and long, third and long situations, and then the defense could pin their ears back.
I thought their defense was scary good. I mean, that's how good they were and how fast they were and how quick they were off the ball. And Smith had no time, and he was shell-shocked after a while. He was even losing time knowing he had no time. I mean, it was he had nothing. It was really, they were scary good.
John, it's reminiscent of, previous years. We talk about the Rex Ryan years with a really crazy defense, just, multiple looks, getting after it, sacks. I mean, Chuck Pagano, he dialed up a lot of blitzes and had a good game plan.
Yeah, I tell you, and he didn't bring blitzes a lot. Sometimes he was just creative with the schemes. He had 7 guys on the front and dropped 3 or 4 back, and they just didn't know. Look, out west, they don't see stuff like this, so they don't know what's going on. When all this crazy stuff is happening and all the stunts, and it was just. It was one of those games where not a lot of scoring, but it was just a pretty game. You know what I mean? It wasn't pretty by the scoreboard standards, but that was a football game. And you don't see just classical, traditional, both sides, beat you up, hitting hard style games. You don't see that too often, and both teams brought it. The Ravens just brought it a little more, and good for us.
Bruce, this was the second game that Ray Lewis was not in the lineup with the toe injury that he has. and a guy like Albert McClellan stepping up. Ellerby didn't play right. Albert McClellan.
Right, I mean, it's unbelievable that they found this guy and he's been on their football team and able to come in, Mike, and play that well.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about guys stepping up, and look, there are a lot of stars on this football team. Ray Lewis at the forefront, no doubt. There's a lot of talent. It just shows the depth, guys stepping up. McClellan. I mean, I don't think you could probably single out one person. The game ball had to go the entire defense.
Oh, without a doubt. And again, to control 1st and 10 like we did at home, I mean, we've been very, very successful at home. Harbaugh's been our coach since 2008. We are 24-5 at home at the bank. Only one team is better than us since 2008, and that's the New England Patriots at home, and they're 25-4. So you can imagine what we're able to accomplish. And to do that against San Francisco, yes, they had the bad luck of traveling 3,000 miles. They lost a full day. I get all that. But to be handled up front like they were defensively, their offensive line just really couldn't pick up. And as John mentioned, very small idiosyncrasies, tackle end games, 4- and 5-man rush. So we didn't send a lot of pressure at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a lot more to get to. A great defensive effort by the Ravens. We'll, of course, cover the offense coming up. At 16-6, the Ravens get the best of the 49ers in the Harbaugh Bowl. We'll talk about it more. It is the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV and 93.5 The Beach.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and the strongest Ravens radio affiliate here on the Eastern Shore, Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. We talk about the Ravens' 16-6 victory over the San Francisco 49ers, a 49ers team that came in 9-1, and despite the fact that this was their 5th trip to the East Coast this season with the way the schedule went down, they were 4-0. So, I mean, still quite a feat. But we talk about, defensive dominance, Bruce. 170 total offensive yards for San Francisco, and obviously a huge stat right here. And you talk about getting them into second, but specifically third and long situations, third down efficiency. They were 2 of 12 for the total game. We were 1 of 6 with them. We'll get into that in the first half, but we got better in the second half. They didn't. They were 1 for 6, 1 for 6. What do we say? Get off the field. Get off the field, and that's what they did.
It is so key, and especially at home. And again, once Smith became, just so one-dimensional, once that running game was taken away from him, play action, if you're in this league, and I see it a lot, and it amazes me, Rick, that even offensive coordinators even call it, but I have seen it numerous times throughout the league. 2nd and 3rd and 8 or plus, and they're running a play-action pass. And I'm sitting there going, who are you fooling? I mean, if you're doing it to me as a safety, shame on me for even thinking about it, Because this is what we do in the huddle. We sit there and go, screen and draw alert, play pass, and we will react to a run. So a play action pass at that down and distance makes no sense, but it took that away from them, which is their bread and butter. When you get that second and short, forward minus and that, bingo. You got him where you want him because he's really not a passing quarterback.
No, he's not.
They've got all the notes. I don't have any notes up here.
I'm waiting to throwing it out that one.
I tell you, Alex Smith, to your point, we talked last week on the show that the Ravens were just going to obviously make Alex Smith beat him, and he obviously couldn't. There's been a lot of talk this year that Jim Harbaugh has turned him around, and really watching that game, he's a serviceable guy, I guess, but he's just really not a good quarterback. Some of the blitzes the Ravens did bring, I'm sitting there thinking, how is someone not open, on these routes? And sure enough, Crabtree was wide open numerous times. I mean, and props to Pagano for just keep making Alex Smith make a play. He just did not make them. He would fold up and get scared, and again, just not used to this punch you in the mouth Raven-style football, and people coming from all kind of different angles and areas, and that goes to show that sometimes you don't need to sack them to get inside these quarterbacks' heads. Sure. He just did not stand in the pocket and deliver throws because the receivers were open.
Well, and we did have a good matchup. We talked about this last week. Our secondary against the receivers, I thought, matched up well, and no defense can cover all 11 guys. You're going to leave a guy or two open, and, hey, take the chance, and we think we're going to get there. But, John, I'll go back to you for a second. Obviously we've criticized Cam Cameron about getting away from the running game and getting away from their bread and butter and Ray Rice. You take a look in this game, only 14 carries, though, for Frank Gore, who at times has carried the ball, at least, 11 to 12 more times a game than that. It almost looked like they got away from the run because, here's their bread and butter, and yet, they kind of almost threw the white flag up in a way. Jim Harbaugh threw the white flag. We can't run the ball. We have to try to throw the ball. They couldn't do that either, though.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you mentioned Kendall Hunter. He's a good, nice change of pace guy, young guy, and get to the edge, make some guys miss. So Frank Gore's been hot coming in, and they just did not stick with the run. And sometimes you're going to be stuck with 2nd and 8. That does not mean, even if you're 3rd and 5, your playbook's still wide open, so you can't give up. Even if you're 3rd and 6, even if you get just another 2 yards, that's a big difference from 3rd and 8, even psychologically. We
at least know one team on 3rd and 5 that's probably running the ball. That would be the Denver Broncos with Tim Tebow. But,
Well, because you don't know whether he's a fullback or a quarterback. He's a fullback that can throw the football very well. That's the way I look at him. But, I liked what what San Francisco did there a few times. They came out with 2 tights. They tried to get to the edge. Give credit to Chuck Pagano and his defensive group that shut down the edge and was able to make the penetration. And we talk about this all the time. We see what happens in short yardage. And I want you fans out there to really look. When you look at short yardage and you see, especially inside the goal line, watch the line of scrimmage. And when you see the line of scrimmage move and the defense is moving the offense or vice versa, the offense moves that defensive line, you will be successful. But when that defense moves that offensive line back off the ball, I will tell you, 98% of the time, unless you have Superman in the backfield, you will lose yardage or not gain any yardage running the football. And that's been one of the things that the Ravens have got to look at, and San Francisco did a very good job in short yardage situations, moving that line of scrimmage back on the Ravens.
And Rick, we've got about 45 seconds, but with the Browns, for instance, having a strong offensive line, the 49ers, and we'll talk about the Browns game coming up, the 49ers had 3, I believe, first-round draft picks on that line. So they weren't slouches. I was just so surprised to get about the dominance, not to take anything away from the Ravens, but the dominance continually against the Niners.
Yeah, the speed. I just think it was the speed. The game went fast, and it was moving a lot faster for the Ravens than it was for the 49ers. And they just seemed to slow down. And their momentum, there was no momentum. They couldn't run. Then, as John said, they tried to go to the pass. It just wasn't there. They just couldn't keep up with the speed of the game that the Ravens was coming at them with.
And John, we only got about 15 seconds, so we'll come back to you in the next segment. And we can't discount the crowd, by the way. That played a factor. More of the Ravens Wrap Show coming up next, right here.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens 93.5 The Beach. I want to thank our sponsors. The original Green Turtle is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show after all. Of course, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill here at the Ravens Room. A great job. Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand. The Man Cave. That's right. It is the Man Cave. Also want to thank our friends at Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com. By the way, we wish Tony well. Still battling that bronchitis. Hopefully he'll be back next week. The Comfort Inn Gold Coast and JCTickets.net. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, John Gehrig, all a part of the panel. And I promise we'll get to some offense coming up in the future segments here. But one more segment here on the defense, guys. And again, we talk about Ray Lewis not being in this game, second straight week. Still a lot of talent, obviously, on this defense. San Francisco is a running team. It plays to our strength. Our defensive line probably as deep as any in the league. But, right, the 9 sacks, you mentioned this earlier, Bruce. You can't glaze over the 9 sacks. The Ravens had a total last year, folks, of, I believe, 25, 27 sacks, one of the lowest in the league. This year, through, 11 games, they've got 38 sacks now on the season. They lead the league. It comes in bunches for Terrell Suggs, but he had 3. Corey Redding had 2.5. Elodie Nada, I believe, had 3. Zibikowski had 1. Your boy Zibby. I mean, I tell you what, it's obviously a much different defense, though, than what we had last year under Madison. No digs on Madison, but it's a different approach.
Well, I'll throw this to the other panel members, but what I love to see is your defensive line getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
It shows that, yes,
Good point.
you can send other blitzers or other rushers. And it doesn't matter where they come from. As you know, the league sends corners, safeties, linebackers. But at the end of the day, when that interior front, that defensive line, tackles, ends, get to the quarterback, it just goes to show you. And Chuck is feeling a lot more comfortable, in my humble opinion, of being able to send 4 and 5 rushers after the quarterback, which he can maintain all the coverages that he wants to. He can keep Ray Lewis free in the middle. He can double someone and have man-on-man the other way, or he can play combination zones, which is with the young quarterbacks in this league that we're facing really is confusing for us.
They don't get any of that type of stuff, and with the twists and the stunts and all that type of thing, and showing different packages, they don't know where it's coming, and the offensive line can't react. They don't know what calls to make, and when you're not used to seeing that type of thing, it's trouble. It wreaks havoc, really. And Pagano, if we played the Steelers and the 49ers and all those teams every week, it's like we dial up those schemes, and the players come to play, and we play teams like, hopefully not like the Browns, but the Seahawks and the Jaguars, and we just kind of plow forward, and we don't see the same stunts, we don't see the same schemes, and I think that's what kind of gets us in trouble a little bit. So hopefully this isn't another week where we just dominate a great team and come out and lay an egg against the doo-doo Browns.
Once in a while, what the heck?
Well, Rick, that's why they have him here to pick on me.
That's right.
We're all going to get to that, but I mean, when you really look at Cleveland, you look at what they're doing down there. I mean, I didn't really know this until this week. Cleveland is so very, very young.
Oh, yeah.
They, obviously, there's a bigger roster, but game day is a 53-man roster. They're starting 20. They have 24 kids that are playing in their 53-man roster, rookies, first or second year. That means with most fifth-year guys, they're averaging almost 25 years of age. And Cleveland, again, in my opinion, has not yet learned how to win football games. Well, the talent's there and things are there, but they don't know how to win it yet.
Well, and we'll get into previewing the Cleveland game. I'll say this, though. You talk about youth. The next line of youth in terms of the Ravens defense, when you see a Paul Kruger, a Pernell McPhee, the young corners. I mean, to be fair to Madison, we talk about the lack of blitzing last year, but he didn't have the corners at least the first couple of weeks. You had 2 guys coming off ACL surgery. The job that Ladarius Webb and Kerry Williams has done this season for the Ravens, I mean, what can you say about that? And that's with Jimmy Smith, the rookie, who they can now kind of wean along. Granted, he was hurt, but he's your third option, or third or fourth option. Again, another deep area.
Well, just talk about that real quick. Jimmy Smith, a first-round pick. You know, in this business, in this league today, first-round draft choices.
They play.
They play.
Yeah.
They play even if they're not ready to play. So you have a Chuck Pagano and the entire organization keeping Jimmy Smith off the starting roster. Why? Because of the play of the other two corners.
Yeah, it's these guys have done it, and you know the Ravens are leading the league in sacks. But we were just talking last week how they hadn't had. I think they had 2 or 3 sacks the last couple games.
Right. So Suggs had gone 3 straight weeks without a sack.
I mean, so this is just if they just dial up and keep it dialed up the rest of the way. And we're talking about home games, Bruce. You mentioned it earlier. That's how important it is. Forget the greed that we want to see. Selfish stuff that we want to actually see some home playoff games finally. But who's going to beat the Ravens? What team do you think is going to come in to Baltimore and win? I mean, if the Ravens can get the job done here and really come to play, because the schedule is very favorable, if they can close this deal out, this was one of the tough ones. We had San Diego. We're going to San Diego. That's not really as tough maybe anymore. You just got to get out there and get it done. If the Ravens are
on their surfboards in San Diego.
Well,
right
and
now,
in the short, and obviously San Francisco had to make the flight. They were on a short week, but let's not discount. We were still on a short week coming off a very emotional game and a game that drug out against the Cincinnati Bengals right to the end. So it's not like we had an easy win at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It wasn't like that at all. So, that's something to be played in. We'll talk about the offense, the 16-6 win, the Ravens over the 49ers. More of the Ravens Wrap Show coming up on Comcast Beach TV and 93.5 The Beach.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Come see us at Blue Rock.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
And welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, the strongest signaled Ravens affiliate on the Eastern Shore, 93.5 The Beach. Once again, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving weekend holiday filled with family, friends, good food, some fun, and of course, great football. And I guess you had the Packers-Lions. That was a pretty good game for like a half or so. Wow. And then the Packers went on a 17-0 run in the third quarter. But the Miami-Dallas game, Rick, I'm probably thinking, Dallas is gonna run over them. It was a field goal game right at the end of the game.
Yeah, that was actually a very good football game. And Dallas, they had their work cut out for them against Miami, and really it was close. That could have gone either way at the end, and Dallas took a victory, and it was a victory I'm sure they were very happy to get away with.
Yeah, especially at home like that. Yeah. So and then capped off with the Thursday night game. By the way, the Harbaugh.
Which was the best.
Yeah, there we go. The best game, the Harbaugh Bowl, the most watched cable network program in cable TV history on Thanksgiving, that is. I mean, what can you say? The NFL Network did a great job. Check out Tony's website, Ravens247.com. They've got the, I guess, the sound effects, clips, and video and all that of the game, and it's a phenomenal piece that they put together with that. But the Ravens 16-6 winners over the 49ers. They improved to 8-3, tied with Pittsburgh in the AFC North. But of course, we have the tiebreaker, having beaten them twice this year. Let's talk some offense, guys. John, I'll start with you down the other end. Joe Flacco, 15-23, 161 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Efficient. He kind of almost mirrored Alex Smith in this game. What Alex Smith has done this year. You know, we've been throwing the football all over the place this year. Only 161 yards passing, but he made some really money throws on Thursday.
Yeah, I tell you, particularly on the touchdown drive, some throws into the tight end. I've been, obviously I criticize Joe a lot because he has the capability. I'll say it again. He has the capabilities to be great. He's got some of the best tool set, maybe the best tool set in the entire league physically, and he showed that off. When you throw with anticipation, you can get the ball in those. You can throw the ball on a rope and get the ball in tight windows, and he's got all those capabilities. We saw that in action on a couple key passes against the 49ers, which. Completing both of those passes, one to Pitta and one to Dixon, was the touchdown. So played a great game. I mean, 160 yards passing, whatever it was, doesn't look great stat-wise. If you didn't watch the game, you just look at the stats. But really just I hate using the word manage, Bruce, but really just an efficient ball game. He made the plays that were there to make.
And I think that's what he needs to do and to continue to do that. Where we would love to see Joe, and I think he's mentally capable of that, and between Cam and him and the entire offensive staff, and I say this because he has yet to orchestrate a game. You know, in the orchestra, you see the maestro. He's up there directing. He's got the flutes. He's got the winds and all this. I mean, Joe now, and I say this because I think if you took the earpiece out of Joe's helmet, he could not compete in the NFL right now. And until he can be that kind of guy, until he can orchestrate and look at it, and I've listened to Steve Young and I've watched great quarterback, until he can do that, he will be a guy with all kinds of tools, can play well, make all the throws, but cannot take the team to a level where he can basically put that football team on his shoulders and say, fellas, come with me, listen to me, and I'm going to take you down the field.
Well, and clearly we've seen that, when the Ravens run the ball, whether they're successfully or not, the play action pass, the teams have to respect Ray Rice, the running game and all that he certainly does better, under that situation. And let's take a look at it. I mean, Ray Rice, 21 for 59, so a little less than 3 yards a carry. Again, that's not very good, but they were committed to the game. Ricky Williams had 7 carries, but the Ray Rice number that I like to throw out there because everybody's concerned about his touches in the game, and rightly so, 24 total touches in the game. That's 24 of the 58 total plays for the Ravens. So, not 50%, but definitely in the low to mid 40s. That's all you can ask for, and then some from Cam Cameron.
Speaking of Ray Rice, I am so tired of him taking himself out of the game. I mean, here's the deal. First drive, this is Thanksgiving prime time, highest rated cable audience in the history of Thanksgiving, which goes back a long time, okay? So
how long does Thanksgiving go? Pocahontas was around. It was a long time ago.
That is a long time. So he's out there, you got a 9-1 team you're playing against, and you just run the ball. You touch the ball 5 times, you get the ball into the red zone. You just ran the ball 9 yards. And he takes himself out of the game. If I'm Harbaugh, I just push him back out. I don't get it. This is money time. This is the time where you're going to take control of the game. And he goes out for the next 2 downs. They wind up kicking a field goal. Doesn't touch the ball again. He was the guy. 9 of his 54 yards came on that play that got him to the red zone. I say, it's enough.
I don't disagree. I don't know what's
give me a massage.
I don't disagree. I don't know what's all behind that exactly. They've given him a little bit more freedom with that. Ricky Williams.
I hate it.
Ricky Williams
He's been doing it all year.
I understand. I've seen
He's
that.
crying for the ball. Give me the ball. Stop throwing the ball. Give me the ball. Oh, I'm going to come out now.
Well, Ricky Williams did.
Come on. Well, no one's. You're right, John. No one's asking him to come out. No one's coming in for him. So. You're right.
Well, Ricky Williams is coming in for him. He averaged 4 yards.
Whatever's happening at the time, he's taking himself. He's going to the sideline, is what John's saying.
All right. Well, we'll talk about more of the offensive production. The Ravens 16-6 over the Niners. Ravens drive.
We'll be back.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. John, you need to get your cues. We want to thank our sponsors, the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox. You're definitely not cutting the TV end of things here. Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and JCTickets.net. We are at the Ravens Room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with Ravens News 44. Give yourselves a house. 8-3, Baltimore Ravens. Number 1 in the AFC North. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, John Gehrig, all a part of the panel this evening. And back to the offense, the Ravens 16-6 winners over the 49ers. Guys, we talked about Joe Flacco being efficient. You know, the first half was a tight ball game. I think it was, 6-6 at halftime or 6-3. But the number that stuck out in the first half, the Ravens were 1 of 6 on third down.
Right.
But in the second half, Bruce, 6 of 8, if my numbers are correct. That was huge. That was huge for the Ravens. They made plays when they needed to.
Total difference. The third quarter was a 2-possession quarter for both of these football teams. Cincinnati had it. They came out there. They had a 12 or 13 play drive. They run the football on 1st and 10. They get a 2nd and 8 down inside the 30-yard line of the Ravens. Here's what happened. 2nd and 8, Suggs, 10-yard sack. They're 3rd and 18. What do they do? They run the football on 3rd and 18. They got to kick the field goal. Just as you said, Mike, the other side of the coin, Ravens get the football after the 3-point, and they go down 14-15 play drive. They convert finally 4 third down conversions via Joe and his arm, and that's the difference. They score 7, ball game. That's the difference. That's the team that understands how to win. And win the right way. That drive was paramount.
We talked for a couple of weeks, Bruce, right to your point, about Cincinnati, good young team, San Francisco, good young team, and we talked about just the class. And sometimes those young teams, the class, you find out that it's not there, and that comes down to the second half. And in the second half, the class of the Ravens or the class of the Steelers when they beat the Bengals in a close game, the class of the good teams always comes out, it seems, against these young teams until the young teams learn how to win. And, the Ravens just outclassed them and really played, Cam, to your point, Mike, had a pretty nice game plan. I mean, the short yardage plays, if I'm going to pick on Cam, please stop with these stretch runs, on the goal line.
Well, on the one drive, Torrey Smith gets a pass interference call against the corner that's on him. We get down there, I think in the goal line, our first play is a 4-yard run by Ray Rice. Second down, we do go to try to go outside, and John Harbaugh admitted it was a bad scheme against their front. It didn't work. We lost yardage on that play. And then here we go on a 3rd and 5. A quarterback draw with Joe Flacco. I mean, were they trying to get cute, Bruce? Were they trying to get cute where San Francisco, and I don't know if they're thinking this at all, getting cute, San Francisco's not giving up a rushing touchdown all year. Are they thinking, well, there's no way Joe's going to run on 3rd and 5? Boy, well, wouldn't that be cool if, Joe was the one who ends up getting in the end zone and kind of embarrassing San Francisco that it was Joe Flacco that ended up scoring the first rushing touchdown? I don't know, but I'm just,
I mean, your point is whether you call it cute or whether you call it, intellectual football by Cam. They know they haven't run a quarterback draw down there, and Cam will know. Cam will be able to tell you 3rd down inside the 6 or 7 yard line. He will recite to you what defenses San Francisco is in, what front, whether they pinch, whether they don't, are they in man, are they in double man. So my thinking is Cam had a number in his mind thinking, inside there, they may run double man. I know you can't push anybody off, but if you can get by the first line of defense, if you can get by the first 4 guys, the other guy's got to come off. And Joe just didn't believe in the call.
And
Joe didn't sell
even Rick,
and didn't believe in it.
Even Rick could tell you, is Joe Flacco capable of doing that on a 3rd and 5 against a very good defense? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if Michael Orr, now granted he's not a running back, so if he could have, you can't expect him to cut. So the offensive cut back, and see holes. He's going to run where he's supposed to run. Where the playbook says, you go here, there's the arrow. So that's what Joe's going to do. So the offensive line needs to do their job. And the linebackers were both blocked. And Yanda blocked his man, and Orr blocked his guy. But if Orr would have turned his guy, I mean, Joe could have moonwalked.
Joe didn't help. I agree. Joe didn't help the cause. And I think you hit it on the head. He didn't believe in the play. It was like he believed.
Orr had to give a better effort. His guy was technically blocked, but if he would have sealed him off a little bit, that was a great call, I thought. It was one person executing. They all kind of executed. If Orr executes perfectly, then Joe Flacco kind of trots in, no problem. And Ken Cameron's a genius. But the 2nd and 1 or 2nd and inches, first of all, Ray Rice has to do one of these. Remember how Jamal Lewis always, extended the ball?
That scares me.
2 weeks in a row now, Ray Rice is falling down on the half a yard, 1 foot line. So, I mean, he's got it.
They've also punched it in with him quite a bit the last couple of weeks, too.
Get rid of the stretch play and go boom right up. Get Vontae Leach on Bowman and knock his ass out of the end.
30 seconds.
John, I want to get rid of it too, but I don't think they got anything. They got inside. They got guard traps, inside trap, and they got stretch. That's all they got. I don't know what other running plays. I've seen them play 8 or 9 times.
They didn't even block Bowman. Here's one of the youngest, most aggressive guys.
John, we got to wrap it up. All right. We'll talk more. The Ravens Drive Show continues. There's a lot of passion next on Comcast Beach TV.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Drive Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. We're broadcasting from the Ravens room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, and John Garrick, all a part of the panel this evening. And real quickly, guys, I got to give a shout out to my alma mater, Calvert Hall, for winning the Turkey Bowl for the 3rd straight year.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. So it made my Thanksgiving, and then for San Francisco to win, for the Ravens to beat San Francisco.
And Mike, and let me help you here, Mike. And if you win the next 15 in a row, you'll be about even. Okay. So
I know.
Just keep thinking of
We did have that rough
streak.
stretch.
Okay.
We did have that rough stretch. I'm with you. But I was on the coaching staff to break it.
I sent my kids a loyal.
Yeah. I know.
Jesuit.
Yeah. All right. So
they drink wine.
Yeah. A lot. And you're right. And we drink beer. All right. Real quick, wrapping up the Ravens offense, guys. Anquan Bolden, the leading receiver, 4 catches, 63 yards. in that one. That was targeted 9 times. Ray Rice with 3 catches, Smith with 2, but he drew that big pass interference penalty. We only got a field goal, but as we talked about last segment, should have been a touchdown. Pitta with a couple of catches, Dixon with a catch in this one. But again, I mean, it was an efficient game. We didn't throw the football a whole lot, 23 times. Again, 161 yards in the air, 1 touchdown, no picks for Joe Flacco, so he didn't turn it over. Let's talk a little bit off the field a little bit, and Bruce, you've got a little bit of inside information. Okay, after the game, after the pictures, after the hoopla, what happened with the Harbaughs? Did they have Thanksgiving dinner on Friday together? I mean, Dad was in town, Mom was in town. Mom and Dad, Jack and Jackie were in an undisclosed place in the stadium. Give us the lowdown on that.
Well, the big story was that they weren't going to stay in the venue, that they were just going to see the boys and do the big photo op, and I never seen more cameras chase them around. But what was funny, because John came out early, and Jack and Jackie were there, and they were all looking for Jim. So younger brother Jim stiffs older brother John, and John gets pulled back in by Kevin Byrd. So he's pulled back off the field, so I'm figuring out, wow, Jim's giving him the old, I'm not supposed to come out on time. They go back in, and Jack and Jackie are hanging out there, and all the cameras are looking around. Where are they? And then all of a sudden, John comes back out through the tunnel, and then they all meet, and I'm going, man, oh man. I think the younger brother gave him a little boom-da-boom. But anyway, the real story was Jack and Jackie did stay in the venue at an undisclosed spot and watched the game.
Which was great because they had said that Rick, they didn't want to be a distraction to the game, to the coaches. I mean, that was I think a wise move, but also a selfless move on their part.
Well, it was, part of the story was the Harbaughs. I mean, that was part of it. And it being on Thanksgiving, and the family tradition and everything there. I mean, obviously that was part of the story for the game and leading up to the game.
Without a doubt, what a great PR move. And the league never misses that opportunity.
Yeah, and Tony was right last week. It was pretty astute observation. They just probably didn't think that the 49ers had any type of shot.
Sure. Well, did any of us think that San Francisco? We make that mistake nowadays with so much parity in the league, guys. You look at the schedule and okay, win, loss. You never know. There's always a couple of teams that end up doing a lot better than you think, and teams that Rick, do a lot worse than you think. I mean, Cincinnati, your rival there with Cleveland. You expect Cincinnati with a rookie quarterback.
But when Cincinnati developed quickly. They really did a good job of developing quickly.
Out of nowhere, Rick.
Yeah, they really
out of nowhere, we all thought they were in total disarray. A young quarterback, a second-year quarterback coming in there, no OTAs, none of that stuff going on.
New offensive coordinator.
Right, and you think about that, and you think about Marvin Lewis and all the turmoil he's had there. He's in, he's out. I mean, he's got the Brown family. Who knows what they're doing? I mean, those people are whacked.
And you have your quarterback leave. I mean, the whole thing. And they really turned it around very, very quickly in Cincinnati.
Guys, the AFC North action, we were able to, because we played Thursday, we were able to watch some games Sunday with Cincinnati, Cleveland playing. I mean, we'll talk about Cleveland coming up, but, Cleveland gives Cincinnati a really good game down to the end, division game. Cincinnati pulls it out, keeps the pressure on Pittsburgh and the Ravens here. They're 7-4. Pittsburgh plays Kansas City Sunday night. Right down nearly to the end, Kansas City has a shot at beating Pittsburgh. It didn't happen, but I guess all we can know for we talked about last week, Pittsburgh has to go to San Francisco. You look at their schedule, that may be the only game left, and Cincinnati this weekend, that they play. Those are the only 2 games left where you think that Pittsburgh has a shot at a loss.
Yeah, anybody can lose. The Ravens certainly have shown that 3 times, so they have to go out and play. But really, you get the kind of the feel, the way the Patriots are playing, the way the Steelers, just the Steelers. You got to count on those teams winning. The Ravens are in the driver's.
They control their own destiny.
The Ravens just need to beat a lot of teams that they should beat. There is not a loss that you look at, like you're saying, Mike. You look on the schedule the rest of the way. There's no one that you circle and say this is trouble. So they just need to go out and play, be consistent, and take care of these bad teams.
And Rick, as bad as New England's defense is, especially in the passing game, again, you got Tom Brady here. They said again they're 8-3, right with us in terms of trying to go for a number 1 seed and a bye.
Well, and he's so efficient. He just stands back there and he runs the game. He does what you're saying Flacco doesn't do yet, but he manages the game all the way through every play and really does a terrific job. Hey, not without. doesn't have all the greatest players on his team.
No, not
He's
at
got
all.
some good players, great tight end, but they're serviceable, and he gets the best out of everybody that's on the field with him.
And what's incredible about Brady, really quickly, what's incredible about Brady, he does it with no deep threat. He's got no one that can take it to the house.
All right, more of the Ravens Drive Show coming up next.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back into the Ravens Drive Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens 93.5 The Beach, is the original Green Turtles Ravens Drive Show here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Also want to thank our sponsors, Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, Ravens247.com. Go ahead, Harry. What the heck? G&G
live TV, Harry.
G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and jctickets.net. There are your 5 seconds of glory right there.
FaceTime.
Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, and John Garrett along the panel. By the way, I meant to say this too, and I'm sorry for the Ohio. What's that?
And Harry.
Oh, and Harry.
Harry
But
now.
I mentioned, Ravens, my alma mater, Calvert Hall, but then on Saturday, Michigan beating Ohio State. It was a trifecta. Oh, and Notre Dame lost, so I had the superfecta over the weekend.
Well, I got no problem with that one.
All right. Rick, this is your time to shine. We've got the Cleveland Browns coming in, or actually we're going to visit the Cleveland Browns, I should say. Give us a breakdown of this Browns team this year. They have had a couple of heartbreaking losses. Their record could be a little bit better than what it is right now.
Well, it could be. I'll tell you what, last week I never had so many of my Ravens friends call me and tell me they were rooting for the Browns. Everybody was rooting for the Browns last week, and a young team like Cincinnati, but they haven't matured to the point Cincinnati has, and they don't have the depth. They have very few playmakers. In fact, they don't have any playmakers, and other than Josh Cribbs, and you got to count on him on specialty teams. They've got a lot of good young players, good defensive linemen, some good cornerbacks. They're building a team for the future. Bruce mentioned how young they were. They didn't go out and try to bring in a lot of older guys. They want to see what these young guys can do, what they need to do building moving forward, and that's where they are.
Well, a couple of questions. Do you like the new coaching staff, Pat Shurmur? It's entire new coaching staff, head coach, obviously offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Do you like Pat Shurmur, what he's doing, and are you sold on Colt McCoy, quarterback?
Well, I like Pat Shurmur. I don't like the fact he doesn't have an offensive coordinator. I think a first-year coach coming in, first time as a head coach, and not having an offensive coordinator, taking that position as well is a mistake. I think he should have brought in an offensive coordinator.
They are going to get one next year, they say.
Yeah, but that's when you say that the second game into the season, that means you made a mistake in the beginning,
right.
As far as I'm concerned. So, I think that was a mistake as far as the development of the team and the development of the coach. I think Colt McCoy, he's got all the football pedigree, he's got all the instincts, he's got all the right things, but does he have the arm? Does he really have the ability that you have to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? And it's kind of hard to tell to date because he doesn't have a lot of protection and he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Yeah. So it's really hard to make a true judgment.
And you had your guy, Madden cover boy, Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis, he took a break and, now, he's got the hamstring issues, and it doesn't seem to be something, it's been something he's had before, and it's maybe not be something he's able to get by.
He got a lot of carries against Cincinnati, though. If there's anything, Cleveland ran the football very well against Cincinnati. When we faced them, they were number 2 against the rush. I'm sure after our game, they still were top 5, and Cleveland ran the football.
And they certainly did. They came out there and wanted to run the football. And to Rick's point, you look at the losses that the Cleveland Browns have had. Sure, they've lost 5 games by 4 points or less. And, of course, let me see here. They did lose to Miami, losing records, Seattle, St. Louis, and Jacksonville. So you go, well, they lost by 4 points or less, but those teams are sub 500. But there again, it just shows to me, because I was there one time in our career. I was a second-year player. We were 4-12 in 74. And then we were 1-4 going into Buffalo the following year. A bunch of young guys, 24, 25-year-olds. We beat Buffalo coming from behind and coming from a 21-point deficit. And from there, Rick, we ran 9 in a row. So you just don't know when it happens, but somewhere along the line, you come together and you believe that you can win. To this day, I don't know what I know what happened in the locker room. I know what Marchibroda said and what we did, but from there on in, we believed every game that we could win the football game. And I think Cleveland is at a spot like that, where if they can get it together mentally, they can do that part of it and play the 60-minute game.
And they're the type of team that they're going to do that a couple times during the year this year. They're going to have that great game where everything clicks, everybody's on the field, and they're able to do it. But it's just not something they're going to be able to do with consistency, with the talent they have at this point.
What are the strong points of the Cleveland Browns?
Josh Cribbs in the return game. The defense, I think their defense has played very, very well. And their place kicker, obviously, they're getting Dawson.
Yep.
You know, they've lost 2 games on bad snaps to the
a Pro Bowl snapper too,
who they cut.
Yeah.
You know, an 8-year veteran, Pro Bowl the last 2 years, and they cut him because of the 2 bad snaps this year. I'm not sure that's the total problem on the Browns.
We talk. I think their offensive line, Rick, pretty good. You talk defense now. Against the rush, not so good. They're number 1 coming into this game against the pass, though.
Well, that's because everybody runs on it. You don't have to pass.
Yeah, when you get a lead, so you don't need to throw.
But, you know, they've got some young guys on the defensive line. And, you know, those guys are going to get a lot better.
Phil
They're
Taylor.
building for the future. Sherrard and Taylor, Rubin, they're going to get a lot better, but they need more depth.
And I'll tell you what, because they're young, they got the great defensive coordinator, Dick Geron.
They do. Yeah.
Played with me, the Yale guy, played in the league, safety, smart guy. He's going to put them in situations where they're going to be able to, if they can be mentally smart for 60 minutes, play good football for that length of time.
We'll preview more of the Cleveland Browns' upcoming game for the Ravens next on the Comcast Peach TV's Ravens Wrap Show.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Del Marvis Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, and John Garrigan. We will do a drawing coming up. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. Guys, quickly, we'll break down the Cleveland Browns and players to look for. Obviously, Colt McCoy, their starting quarterback, completing about 59% of his passes, only averaging about 6 yards a pass, little less than 200 yards a game in the air, kind of like San Francisco. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's not bad. He's been sacked 26 times, so a couple times a game. Not horrible, not great either. A bevy of backs. Chris Ogabanaya is their leading back right now. Peyton Hillis, as we talked about, Madden cover. Montario Hardesty, who's had some injuries. They do have a strong offensive line, though. Don't get fooled. They can run the football. They did against Cincinnati. Receiving-wise, no real threats here, as Rick talked about. Greg Little was a draft pick out of Carolina. He shows flashes of brilliance, but a lot of drops. Cleveland Browns lead the league in drops, I think 26. He is their leading receiver, though. Ben Watson, the tight end, is their second leading receiver. Josh Cribbs, the special teams ace, is third. And Muhammad Massaquoi, the guy out of, I believe, Georgia a few years ago, he is fourth on the team. DeQuell Jackson, Maryland guy, by far their leading tackler with 76. As Rick talked about, a young defensive line, though, some good draft picks that they've got there. Phil Taylor out of Baylor, Jabal Sheard, Ruben Stevens. These are guys to look for in the future, but maybe not this year. Let's go down the line. Start with you, John. How do you see this game breaking down in your final predictions?
This is always an ugly game. Sets up to be somewhat of an ugly game. Pretty good pass defense. I just think the Ravens, this needs to be a Ray Rice game. In order for it to be a Ray Rice game, I think Cleveland's 29th against the rush. In order for Ray Rice to actually do something, he needs to stay in the game. All right? So I'm looking for Ray Rice to actually stay in the game this week.
You're going to be his personal workout guy in the offseason. I see that coming.
23-10 Ravens.
23-10.
23-10. Well, I look for the Browns to be tough early, but they're going to get worn down. They just don't have the level of talent throughout the team, I think, hold the Ravens back. McCoy's not going to get any time at all to throw the football. If he watched the films, what happened to Smith and the 49ers, that's going to have him thinking about it already. Doesn't have a go-to receiver. They're going to run the football. If they get some breaks, they run the football, a turnover, a break on specialty teams.
Field position, maybe.
They're outmanned, and talent-wise, the Ravens, they need to do what John says. They need to win these games. Getting to the playoffs is one thing, but if the Ravens don't have the home field advantage, that's going to hurt them. These are the kind of games they have to win. I'd say 27-13 Ravens.
Well, Rick, when I look at this game, I look at the defenses of both of these football teams pretty well mirror each other. We make a little bit more plays. We're sacking people. But, third down percentages, 1st and 10, running the football, all that they do pretty well. The Cleveland Browns with Colt McCoy has to do something offensively in this game. They got to come up vertically. They got to move the ball. They got to make some big plays. They're 28th in points scored. So that's their issue right now with Cleveland. They can't put enough points on the board to win football games. And against the Ravens, they're going to have to score at least 21. So I see the Ravens big in this game as well, 24-17.
I think this is a game that kind of mirrors Seattle a little bit. If you let them hang around and get confidence, this is a team that can do some things. You give them a little confidence. That defense might play a little bit better. They can run the football. They will be a challenge for our offensive line. Don't get fooled about that. They're playing at home, full week's rest. It's not San Francisco here. So, I expect them to try to pound the football, and they may be able to a little bit. Clearly, though, skill positions, we match up better against our wide receivers. We should be balanced. We just need to do what we need to do. Score in the red zone. One of our I say patrons, one of our fans out here has talked about that. We're pretty bad in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. We got to get it together, but just focus on us. Do what we do best, and this is going to be a game that we need coming off a big win. We haven't gotten that yet this year, especially on the road. So I do like the Ravens in this one, but it has been ugly. Division game. I will go with the Ravens in this one, 20-10 over the Browns. Big game in Pittsburgh as Pittsburgh hosts Cincinnati. Hey, who knows? Maybe we can get Cincinnati knock off Pittsburgh. But guys, that's our predictions. But it is time for Mayor Rick Meehan's going to draw the winner here. We've been giving out these blue tickets. We've been giving out these blue tickets for those that show up to all the shows the last several weeks from our friends at jctickets.net. We've got a trip for two to San Diego. Bruce Laird's going to be your personal tour guide. So, one of those two has to go to him, unless you can fit him, in your look.
Coronado and every bar I've been in San Diego, we're going to have a good time.
You ready?
So, Mayor, draw the winning ticket.
Mayor. Papo came back. He must have a ticket.
He's thinking he's getting lucky.
He must have a ticket.
That's what I'm here for.
There you go.
A rock star over here. I got to read it for you. All right, you got 3 seconds to come up here.
60 seconds.
You have 2, 4, 8, 2, 3, 8. 2,
Come on!
3, 8.
Oh, right there. Oh, no! Come on, man! We know it was you! We talked about it. We talked about it on this week. All right.
Let me see you.
So, hey, come into the party, because Bruce knows all
Hey,
this.
take your dancing shoes, baby.
Hey, turn around for the camera. Booyah! A trip for 2 to San Diego. That is going to do it for us. Everybody have a great week. Go Ravens over the Browns. Mayor Rick Lehan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick.
We'll catch you next week. It's Ravens Drive Show, Comcast Beach TV and 93.5 The Beach.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.